Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the members pod, the weekly members pod here, where we all get together. It's always a nice potpourri of individuals that want to show up and just talk sports, or whatever's on their mind. Tonight, get the pleasure of Ben today, and one half of the Montgomery Brothers fantastic podcast, daily podcast there. I think we'll be having maybe at least one other visitor come on in a little bit, but let's go ahead and get everything started. And I think something that's top of mind for some people that couldn't make it today, but I think we do want to talk about the most recent news, which would have been the MLB awards that got announced. I don't think there was too many surprises from the Cy Young. Uh, we can go right by that and go right into the MVP. I don't think there was really too much controversy for anything else, but same thing that happened with the World Series. MLB would not have been happy if it was anybody from the if it would have been um, the anybody from the AL that would have won, in the World Series. So either Toronto or Seattle. Major League Baseball has no interest in either of those teams or those small market cities win. I think it's completely around the big dogs, and it's almost like it's a we are going to go with a popularity contest. How things used to be picked in high school and stuff like that. This is just prom king and prom queen. It wasn't completely based on the wow factor. There's nothing taking. We shouldn't take anything away from Aaron Judge, of course. His stats are pretty incredible. It's like Nikola Jokic. I mean, he very easily, very often bests his previous MVP numbers. But it doesn't really have the wow factor. I think what Cal did this year was so unique, and we may never see it again. Um, what's everybody think about that? With some what you saw?
I
Go
think,
ahead, Ben. I'll let you lead
yeah,
off.
yeah, I think the MLB proved with this award season, at least for the MVP, that a catcher can never and will never win the AL MVP unless they put up like Barry Bonds numbers. I think at this point, that's the only chance any catcher has. Because not only can a pitcher win the MVP award, even though they have their own award, the Cy Young, but sometimes pitchers can win the MVP. But you're telling me a position player that played almost the whole season. Cal Raleigh missed 3 games as a catcher the whole year. Yeah, he had some DH mixed in, but he still put in 120 games or so behind the plate. Like, what didn't the guy do? Like, seriously, like, what didn't he do other than play for the Yankees? That's literally it. It's it
Well,
sucks.
you're not going
It
to you're not going to see. I mean, Saquon Barkley should have won MVP 2 years ago. Jonathan Taylor has probably been the most consistent NFL player this year. I think he's had one bad game, but I mean, I wouldn't be just making it a toss up of whoever the best quarterback is because if anybody wants to watch the NFL pod when it comes out, I definitely went off on the status of the NFL currently. I don't think that we have had a quarterback crop across the NFL in many years now since this last generation all retired, like the Brady, Manning, Breeze, all that group. I don't think any team has really hit it big except for maybe KC. Everything else is just a matter of time before they fall off. So I think it's all different. But what do you got, Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that it is pretty telling that Shohei was a dominant MVP choice. I mean, look, I'm a Philly fan, obviously. Schwarber had a great year, but I mean, what Otani can do on the mound, as soon as he became a pitcher again, that solidified his MVP candidacy. Like you could argue the fact, oh well, he was a DH. Well, Schwarber's a DH too. So like either way, whoever was winning from the NL was going to be a DH. As soon as he came back and was pitching, and he was pitching the way he was, it was locked up. I don't think we're ever going to see a player of that caliber ever play in the major leagues ever again. So as long as he's playing, he's probably going to win MVP every single year. He's that dominant. As far as the AL, I agree with you. Uh, All deserved it, in my opinion. And look, the sad part about it is that may be a career year for Cal, and he didn't win the MVP. He may never do that again. Obviously, hitting 60 home runs is hard to duplicate in any other season, right? Especially as a switch hitting catcher. Um, that's the other aspect of that. You take all that into consideration. To your point, you brought up the wow factor. The dude deserved it. I think it's a travesty, and look, I think it's another situation of a West Coast team that not many people got to see play because they play their games at 10 o'clock East Coast time, right? They're not always. How many times did you see them on prime time on ESPN or any of these networks that played baseball games? You don't. You saw the Dodgers a lot though. You always saw Otani whenever he was there. So the Mariners have never been marketable since the Griffey days, right? You haven't seen them prime time, and I think that's what hurt him. I think now you may see them more prime time going into next year because they have somebody to market. But I think it's a shame. And it's actually just a travesty to the Seattle market in general because they deserve this. And I do agree with your point with the World Series. I mean, look, the Blue Jays were inches away from winning the World Series twice in Game Six, twice, and it didn't happen for them. So it was almost like the writing was on the wall. And when they hit that one ball into the fence, and I brought this up on a pod before, they tried to like they went out there the next day and they had former major league players throwing the ball as hard as they could at that fence, and they couldn't get it to stick. It was just the perfect angle, perfect everything, and it was just it was just a shame. It was just a shame, but I don't know, man. I don't know what they're going to be able to do, but I agree with you too with the NFL awards. The MVP is literally a quarterback award, and the offensive player of the year is everybody else. Um, and they should just call it that and be done with it because it's just it's a joke every single year at this point. And I think defensive players should be up for MVP every now and then too, but they throw them in the running and then they end up winning defensive player of the year. That's all they do. So I don't know. I think some of these awards are just a joke at this point.
Yeah, I don't put as much stock into it as I used to. Just the same thing as like the All-Star games. They're not what they used to be in the '90s. And you're right about what you said with like with Schwarber and all that. I He's a good player. He's a great DH, and he's a scary guy to be against. And he's going to put up numbers if you do anything but avoid him, he's going to make you pay. Um,
Yeah,
but
Kyle, I
like
think you.
Shohei, I was going to say Shohei is the closest thing to Babe Ruth that anybody's ever talked about ever. Um,
Yeah.
there's no such thing as a good two-way player. You can't be amazing. Like Travis Hunter was a two-way player. He's not good at either of them. He's decent receiver and a decent cornerback. Shohei is elite at both.
Hmm. Hmm. I could see him winning MVP and a Cy Young in the same season. I can see that happening. But the ironic part about it, it's happened before, right? Where we've had pitchers win MVP and Cy Young in the same season. But this is a this is a designated hitter and a pitcher basically winning two separate awards. Like that's basically what it'll be, and it'll be unprecedented. We'll never see it. I don't because I've gotten asked that question before, and I'm sure you guys have. Do you think there will ever be another Shohei? Do you think they're grooming it? No, I don't. I think this is like Drago and Rocky, where he's like built in the factory. He's like a machine. You're never going to see somebody like this ever again. And I think enough people don't realize it when they're watching baseball to understand that this dude is like an absolute beast. I think it was more like you brought up Babe Ruth. I think people back there in the 20s and 30s didn't realize what they were actually seeing until after the fact. They knew it was like this phenomenon, like this big draw and everything, but I don't think they realized how big it was until 20, 30 years later.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
it's tough to
I would
say
agree.
that.
I
It's
would
tough
agree
to
for
say.
sure.
Right. It's tough to say that there won't be anyone like him. But since this is the all sports pod, I would like to reference Yao Ming. For whatever reason, the Chinese government, they had a bright idea, and this was actually a bright idea, that they would take two of the taller people in China to try and make a superstar basketball player. And it worked. Like I just saw this a couple months ago recently. It was like going through like my timeline, and I'm like, oh no way! Like it was like an arranged marriage, and I guess they ended up like obviously like loving each other, which is great. But like the two of the taller people in China, they made like
It's
a
so weird.
global icon. I know, right? And I mean, I don't want to I don't know the background of like Shohei's family or the way that the Japanese or the Chinese governments kind of run their countries. This is not a political discussion podcast, but it could be possible. But I'll say for now that there will never be another Shohei. To work it back a little bit, Kyle, I think you made a great point. Like Cal had an awesome season, and it's just hard for me to believe he's going to replicate that. I mean, you think about how many guys, there's a handful of guys that's had multiple 60 home run seasons, right? We got Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGuire. I think Babe Ruth only did it one. I don't know if Roger
Hmm.
Maris only did it once. I don't know if anyone else besides those three have had multiple 60 home run seasons. So, I mean, Cal could still like play 150 games next year, hit 50 home runs, but it wouldn't be better than this year. And then he shouldn't win next year because as long as Judge stays healthy, he's going to be right in the running again next year, or whoever has a career year. So it's a shame that a catcher can never win MVP no matter what you do, because aside from winning the World Series, which I think would have wrapped it up for Cal, there's nothing else he could have done other than play every single game at catcher with no DH.
Well, you look
That's
at
about
what
it.
well, you look at Aaron Judge in the field too versus what Cal has to do every single day. Uh, I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
I don't want to minimize what a right fielder does, but it's not the work that you put in as a pitcher. As a
Yeah.
catcher, that's for sure.
It's
That-
the least important position on a baseball field. That and the left field, the two corner positions are usually the least
Big
important,
facts.
and right field is least, especially at
Well, I
Yankee
was just saying,
Stadium. If there's a
well,
pop up in right field, it's gone. It's out of the
Yeah.
stadium. Like that's it.
well, in
Anyone who's
Little
yeah.
League, the kid that sucks the most gets put in right field. Just want to
This
put
Yeah.
that out there.
took the
Yep.
words right out of my
Yep.
mouth. If you've ever watched or played baseball growing up, that is literally like a thing. Like you put your worst person in right and just hope no one hits it there.
Listen, I coach, and my son's 8 and 9 year old team. I put literally the worst kid out there. And if you're watching this, I apologize that you're finding this out this way. But you weren't
Yeah,
that good, so I
yeah.
had to put you in right field.
We're expecting a whole lot less lefty batters than
Yeah.
righties. So
It's
Correct.
just
all right.
playing the
Just
odds, buddy. Playing the odds.
do better, right fielder.
That's
This
it.
isn't get a ribbon. This is do your best or get off the field. Like,
Listen,
come on.
in my greatest Andy Reid terminology, I have to put you in a better position. So that's my fault for not coaching you better and making you a better player. I had to put you in right field. That's it. And look, I want
Actually,
to go back to your Shohei point. There may actually be a Shohei again, because if Tom Brady can clone his dog, maybe we can clone Shohei. We can use the exact same company to do the same thing, and then we'll have a whole baseball team of Shoheis. Like
Well,
it's
Tom
well,
Little League
this
Brady,
World Series
he
baseball.
he also cloned himself, and now he plays quarterback again for the Patriots. This is great.
Oh
Like,
my
here
God.
come the next 20 years. I can't wait. This is
I
awesome.
think
no,
I'll
I
no.
have
think I think my infamous gift that Steve posted is from you saying I'm not comparing him to Tom Brady, but
It
and I
is. It
go,
is. Yeah, it
yep,
is. It
yep,
is. We gotta bring that one back. We gotta make that a main GIF because that's just iconic. That has to be like the favorited. Like when you pull up your GIFs, it just has to be already ready to go right there.
I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can
Well,
do.
since we're talking about football here, let's move on from Tom Brady because I'll tell you one thing: he is a terrible minority owner. I can't believe he's a part of something that just looks so terrible. Tom Brady is not one to put out a bad product, and he paid to put out a bad product. That is awful. That is awful
So
what we saw last night.
I got to ask this too, as a minority owner, and with him looking the way that he does, he can't help Mark Davis out and like get him a better haircut. Like he can't help him out.
I don't think
Like Mark
anyone
Davis
can.
has like it's
Do you,
ridiculous. It's
but
ridiculous.
do you see the friends that Mark Davis has in the suite with
Yes.
him?
Yeah, he
Yes.
doesn't
They
need a
make
haircut.
they make Bill
Yeah.
Belichick's girlfriend look like Randy. It's ridiculous.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's true.
your hair can look however you want if you're pulling girls like that. Wink, wink, nod, nod.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fair
so
enough. Fair enough.
I'd say some of the bigger stories this week was, you know, I think Josh Allen last week had a very, very, very mediocre week. He was completely dumbfounded, looked completely lost. I don't know if it was that
Yeah,
week or the week before. Maybe it was 2 weeks ago when
against
we were at
Miami.
yeah, when we were at PJ's. That was just absolutely
Yeah,
atrocious. And then,
Car- career
on
worst
Sunday,
game. Yeah.
yeah, and now he has any quarterback's best game they could ever think of. after that.
Yeah, I
So
saw the stat. It was like one person before him had 3 passing and 3 rushing touchdowns. And then he did it however long ago. And then he just did it again. So he's done it twice. And then some guy from the 50s. That's it. That's the list, which is pretty astounding. And it was weird, the game against Miami, because he always owns Miami. Miami is like his like opponent. He just like torches every single year. You can look up the numbers. He's like far and away the most touchdowns against any opponent. I mean, it helps that it's a division opponent. You play twice a year, but yeah, it was crazy that game, and I mean, it pretty much put the Patriots in the driver's seat for the division. Like it's theirs to lose now. Like my expectations before the season was the 7th seed in a playoff game. Now it could be home playoffs for the whole playoffs in the first round bye. It's crazy what a year it's been.
Yeah, I mean,
I still
look,
can't
Josh
believe it.
Allen had a horrible game against the Dolphins, and you didn't really hear anything about it. And Jalen Hurts has had a mediocre season, and he gets bashed every week by everybody saying that he's a horrible quarterback. He's not even a game manager. Any other quarterback would be better on this team. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke, in my opinion. Josh Allen, look, at the end of the day, there hasn't been one quarterback this year, and I'm throwing May in there. May's probably been the most consistent and probably the best quarterback all year, but nobody is really playing at an MVP caliber level like what we're used to seeing out of quarterbacks. They're not.
there it is. Are you pointing at me, Steve? I think you're pointing at me. This is what I brought up on the pod earlier, and I was thinking about it over this weekend because I mean I wasn't happy about anything that happened on Sunday, at least for my game. So, and I was kind of realizing that, and I said on the other pod, I probably wouldn't even watch NFL very much right now if it weren't for fantasy. I'm not impressed with anything I see on the field, and it starts with the quarterbacks. And from the late '80s to mid '90s, we had one generation, and they were incredible that we all grew up with. McNally's parents were still conceiving him, but we grew up like that generation was incredible. Even the ones that didn't win Super Bowls were incredible. And then the generation that just retired with like Manning, Breeze, and Brady. And then there's probably about 5 or 6 others that, were pretty consistent. Even like Matt Ryan or Philip Rivers was pretty
Hmm.
darn good for a real long time. And the
Well,
league,
Rogers in his prime, right? Rogers in his prime. You
yes,
throw him in
yes.
that
And
loop.
that's,
Yep.
well, and
Absolutely.
now
Yep.
somehow this is a league where you can normalize Joe Flacco playing, like being wanted by more than one NFL team at 40. Aaron Rodgers being able to limp out there at 41 and do whatever the heck he's doing. That shouldn't be acceptable
Yeah.
at
I,
all.
rem-
But the
I
the
remember.
way the play
Yeah.
it's unbelievable to me.
I
Hmm.
remember the old days when Flacco was a bum. They did happen early on in his career, but he figured it out. Same thing with Josh Allen. When Josh Allen was first drafted, he was a bust. Like his first year or two in the league, like he was not getting any kind of hype. He just didn't take that next step, and then he did. But Paul, I
It
was
must have
actually
been
wanted
his
to word.
quarterback. Must have been his quarterback coach.
Could have been. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Who ended up being his coach? Dayball.
His quarterback, yes, yes, he
Hmm.
was.
Dayball. Yeah. Yeah, that
Hmm.
man can coach offense. He cannot coach a team. Just stick him on
He
off.
can't.
He's like Josh McDaniels.
Josh
The
McDaniel,
worst
yeah.
the worst head coach of all time, but definitely in the running for one of the best offensive coordinators of all time. But Paul, you made a point about the MVP a while ago about Jonathan Taylor and how running backs, the offensive player of the year is just for everyone else. I think if Jonathan Taylor keeps it up, I mean, he can get to LT numbers. Did LT win the MVP, LaDainian Tomlinson, the year he had when they were like the 1 seed or whatnot,
Yeah,
and
and
he
he had
set the
like
touchdown
27
record?
touchdowns. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Do
Yeah,
he
you know
did.
I have a
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Ben? Do you know I have a Ladainian Tomlinson shrine? Look at that. An entire like shrine over there, and then a couple on the wall too.
you got to get a quote board from LT. No class. The Patriots have no class. That's what he said the year that he had that year, and then we beat them in the playoffs. That was the year that Brady threw the pick, and Troy Brown somehow stripped it from whoever intercepted it. We get the ball back, and then we kick a late field goal, and we beat them. And he was upset because we were celebrating on the field after. And I just remember his press conference. The Patriots have no class, no class, and he's been a
I
hater
mean,
ever since.
he's not wrong. They didn't have any class. They were classless. They videotaped people's practices. That's the only reason they got the one Super Bowl. I mean, come on, let's not rehash old history. They got lucky with the tuck rule. Do we really want to get into a history lesson here, Ben? Come
No,
on.
Hey,
they created the tuck rule in the biggest snowstorm. Man, I was a Raiders fan back then too. It was awesome.
hey, there's a
Got
Because
reason.
lucky
They
with
play
that.
the games for a reason. They play the games for a reason. You can know as much as you can before, but then you have to prove it on the field. Like it's just like
Tom
Barry
Brady,
Bonds with steroids or Alex
Tom
Rodriguez.
Brady and Belichick should come back together and create a NASCAR team because there's not one NASCAR team that doesn't cheat every single week, and it's just about how far you can go without getting caught. Like everybody cheats. If you're not pushing the limits of what's legal, then you're just going to lose. So
Well, it would be
people get yeah. I mean,
it.
they'd have to stand in for each other because they'd be fined and dock points and whatever else every week. But I think they'd be a great NASCAR combo.
It wouldn't be NASCAR. It would be F1 because Brady's already involved in that pretty heavily. So it would be an F1 team for sure. That would be
Be an,
something. Imagine
it'd
that.
be an
Actually, you
it
know
would
what?
be an FU team. That's what it would be. It'd be an
It
FU
would be
team.
an
That's what
FU,
I'd think.
and I want to say a nice FU to Brady. I can't believe that I let this stand for so long. We're moving on to something else immediately. We are not talking about Tom Brady anymore, unless it's slanderous. Yeah, unless it's slanderous. So, which is what I led off with. Like I literally led the conversation
You
off
did.
with like he sucks
You
at
did.
like at ownership.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
He did. Yep.
yeah.
He is
So
terrible right now at it.
let's talk about the fantasy rankings. I actually started to win a couple of games, and apparently it's too little, too late. The person I
Too
beat,
little, too late.
yeah, the person I handled this week is the one that fumbled the bag for everybody. I've never been in a league where four out of 12 would make the playoffs. I can't approve that, but
I know that commissioner's an idiot. I don't know who that guy is, but he should be shot.
It's never too late to change. Nothing will change other than that setting. Everything else will stay the same, you know?
We can't change it in season. I have to leave it for now. So, but next year
It's all right.
we'll make it normal and we'll add the guillotine rule where you get kicked out of the league and you get relegated.
and
That's
I
right.
have no idea how I only had like two wins. I love my team. I had Josh Allen, Javante Williams, and Bijan Robinson. Like, how is that not a guaranteed 70? I'll let the other
Yeah.
six guys just sprinkle in 10 apiece and I'm fine.
Seriously.
How am I
Damn.
getting beat? Like it blew my mind. I was like, this is not happening. How am I just getting and I would get slaughtered. I have
You must
no
have
idea
had
how.
like you must have had like Grant Calcaterra as your tight end. Shout out Eagles backup tight end.
There you go. Love it. Love it.
No, I had Brock Bowers. I had Brock Bowers and it doesn't make any
Ah,
sense.
damn.
It's
Yeah,
awful. It's
well,
awful.
if he was healthy the whole year, it's probably a different story for your team. That's the X factor right there. Because he was the number one tight end by far. And I drafted him on a couple teams. Like I was taking him as high as like the third round because like I just believed in him. I mean, he did everything he did last year with what? Aiden O'Connell and who else as quarterback? Like I don't want to like besmirch Gardner
Gardner
Minshew.
Minshew.
Yeah, I was just
Gardner
about to say I
Minshew.
don't want to
Gardner.
be. Yeah, he's fine, but I mean, what
Is he
is he? The
though?
32nd, 33rd best quarterback in the league? Like, what are we
And
talking
that's
about
what's
here?
wrong with the NFL. You're not like if you can't say Gardner Minshew and be slanderous, that's not right. Like he should be looked at as a terrible representation of an NFL quarterback, but he's not.
Right. Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
you would have thought this year, like going in with Geno Smith, like, yeah, Geno Smith is Geno Smith, but compared to Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell, like, you would have thought, like, oh, yeah, like, no problem. And like the one game he had this year, like, yeah, that's great, 3 touchdowns, but the rest, you
three
know,
Yep.
interceptions.
Yep.
yep.
Yeah, I mean, look, the fantasy league is a joke. I don't even know why I started it. I think it's dumb. I hate fantasy football. No, I think it's been fun this year. Look, we got to talk about two people. Karan, who couldn't join us tonight because he's licking his wounds after taking his first loss of the season. He was 10-0 going into this week, and now the injuries are starting to mount up. So I'm going to make a bold take right here. Karan's not winning the whole thing. He's going to get
Oh,
upset in the
definitely not.
playoffs. He's going to get
I don't
Definitely
upset
think
in the
not.
that's actually.
playoffs
I don't think it's a bold take. I think it's
because
a take.
That's just how That's the ups and downs of fantasies. That is just the
Yep.
parody. If we talk about parody in the NFL, there is 10 times the parody in fantasy football. Like it's
Yeah.
not
Well,
even
and
close.
And look, we gotta talk about another team that made headlines this week, and they fired their GM midseason. LeBeard fired his GM midseason and hired a new one. He
Yeah.
actually hired one midseason. So he's in the midst of a 7 game losing streak, and just can't get it right. He can't figure it out. He needs help. He needs help, Ben. So if he reaches out to you for some fantasy help, don't answer. Don't answer.
A house divided, but I don't know why LeBeard didn't like just take me under his wing from the start. I mean, like I was supposed to be in the league, but I volunteered to not be in it. But like he could have been asking for advice the whole time, and I would have been giving
I
it free
know.
of charge.
It's like not going to a free library to get a book. You know what I mean? Like he had the answers to the test and he didn't utilize it. It's a shame.
It's
It's a shame.
yeah, it's so funny. It's so funny you mention that. One of my coworkers, he does fantasy football in a different league, and he always just gives me his phone like every now and then. He's like, "Here you go," and he lets me do my thing.
Here, fix it
So
for me. Fix
yeah, yeah, pretty much exactly. Yeah, you can't have two defenses and two kickers. Get those out of there. Like, what are we doing here? Come on.
it.
So yeah,
Yeah.
little stuff like that.
Yeah, it's been a weird year. It's been a weird year for sure. But I mean, Karan drafted McCaffrey, drafted Jonathan Taylor. Um like they were his
Incredible,
first 2 picks, and I think
I-
he
incredible.
has
Wow.
Mahomes as his quarterback. So like he had a star-studded cast for sure.
I have
Yeah,
a league
that'll
like
be
that. I have a league like that. Our fraternity league that Mike and I are in. I'm in first, and Mike is in last. And I think I have I think I have 500 points more than him, which is unheard
wow.
of.
That's insane. Yeah, that's
I
insane.
mean,
Yeah, yeah.
it's unreal. I just lost like 2 weeks ago for the first time, and I was actually upset about it. Like, let's see, I have scored. Oh wow, it's so much worse than what I even said. So I have scored 1,820 points, and the North Carolina Blunts has scored
Wow.
1291.
Jesus. Jesus.
And in that one
Who did,
I got um who was it? Jamar Chase won, Jonathan Taylor, Pat Mahomes, Javante Williams, just and I do think I picked the rookies pretty good. I hit on like Drake London before. I've hit on Chris Olave. I hit on Justin Jefferson. I usually hit on him pretty good, and Egbuka was my guy this year, and he's been the
Yeah,
guy. So,
he's been solid. Yeah, he's been
uh,
solid for sure. Been kind of
and then
clamped down the last couple weeks, but
I got Trey McBride as like my third round pick, kind of on the same line as Brock Bowers. So,
Jesus.
I mean,
I wish I did that instead. Looking back, that was the difference maker on some teams right there. I mean,
Oh
McBride has
yeah, for
stayed
sure.
healthy the whole year, and I think he's the number one tight end. I can't think of anyone else that jumps
Well,
off.
Tucker Kraft was until he got injured, and now
Yeah,
it's McBride. Yeah, McBride. He took him over the last 2 weeks.
and actually, I've been playing my backup quarterback, Drake May, 12th
that's
round
right.
pick.
Jesus.
Drake May after drafting
Contender,
Pat Mahomes.
top three contender for MVP along with Stafford and Jonathan Taylor. Boom. There we go. I'd say those are
So,
the top three, unless you guys have any qualms or like without
no,
like
because
looking at the list.
no, I'm over the Daniel Jones and Baker Mayfield thing. That was fun and it's exciting for a bit, but it doesn't have longevity.
Yeah, no,
Um,
Some
I think
people,
I think I think those are it. I think those are top
yeah,
three.
some people tell me
Stafford's,
Sam Darnold. I'm like, did you watch the last game? I think he took himself out of
yeah,
that with the last
he
game.
fell off a little bit, but Stafford's stats in the last 5 games are stupid. It's not even
Yeah.
real. Um,
Well, look, Mahomes is going to have to play like MVP Mahomes in order for the Chiefs to even make the playoffs right now. So
Yeah, it's a good
if
point.
if
I would say
and if
he's a
if he
dark
does, it
horse. Yeah,
correct. If he
dark horse
does,
right there.
you
Yeah.
know how everybody loves him, and it'll be another Judge over Cal type situation where Mahomes will win it over Drake May when it should be May. You know,
Oh, I'm ready for that.
I
Well, I think
can't
at this
wait to
point,
hear that vent.
I think at this point, like they could only get a wild card because with Denver beating them, I think they're 4 up on them. So it would take like an all-time Denver
Hmm.
collapse down the stretch for the Chiefs to have any chance at winning the division. So they're looking probably like the 5 seed at this point in the
At
season.
best, at best, yeah, at best.
Yeah. But at that point, nobody wants to be playing them. Like they are going into their time of the year where it doesn't matter what happened in the regular season, the playoffs come around. And I mean, look at the last 5, 6 years. They've been in the Super Bowl every year, pretty much. And there's been a
Yeah,
couple of
I
the
think.
similar seasons like this year where it's like, what's going on with the Chiefs?
Well, Mahomes has been in the AFC Championship game 7 straight years. Like he's been in the AFC Championship game every year of his career. I think, except for maybe the first year. But either way, 7 straight seasons in the AFC Championship game, and that's on the line this year. Like that's at risk because of how they're playing. I mean, they're not winning the one score games like they have in the previous years. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, man. And it's not like they're not healthy. They got healthy. They got their receivers back, so like they're ready. They're there. They're just not playing as well as they usually do. So I still wouldn't bet
Yeah.
against them, but it's gonna take a hell of an effort for them to make the playoffs, man. I was in an argument with somebody, and they're like, "I don't think they're making the playoffs." I'm like, it's Mahomes, Kelsey, and Andy
Yeah.
Reid. I'm not betting against it. Like,
Let's chill. Yeah, whoever that person is, tell them to chill with that. Like the division, no,
yeah,
sure, yeah, you can talk to me about that, but the playoffs,
yeah.
like
It's like
come on, they
Voldemort.
can't be
Don't
this.
don't speak
Yeah,
the name. Like don't say the name. Don't say
yeah, you're
Beetlejuice 3 times. I don't want to say, hey, he's not going to make the playoffs because then he's going to fool around and make not
yeah,
only make the playoffs, but then he's back in the Super Bowl again.
yeah. You're gonna tell me in a down year for the league and the Chiefs, they can't be the seventh best team in the AFC? Like, come on,
Right.
like what
Yep.
what are we talking about here?
Yep. I agree. I agree. I don't know, Paul. I don't know. You want to touch on your Commanders? You want to touch on them at all? Your Redskins?
Yeah, we
Your
can't lose this
Redskins
week.
Commanders?
Cannot
Yeah.
lose this week. And
No, you
that's the
can't. No,
greatest.
you can't.
And normally you come back like, like, oh, we need a bye week, man. We need these guys to rest, whatever. No, all our good players are already out for the season, pretty much. We don't need a week. We need an off season.
Who do you
So
who do you
no,
guys
it's
got this week?
The
a
bye week.
bye.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Can't,
all right.
yeah,
Bye week.
can't
Bye
lose.
week's
Otherwise
favored
we
by
would.
3.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bye week's
No,
favored by 3.
something's going to happen.
Well, it's good
No,
timing.
it's,
Do you think Daniels will be back? Or do you think they're just
uh,
going to be like, nah, just let's axe this season?
I don't know. I don't think he should come back, but these seasons are longer than they used to be. So I don't know. I mean, it could be completely out of it. So there's always that you're either one side or the other. Get the reps in to get some continuity with some of the players on the team, blah blah blah, and all that stuff. I just don't want him to get hurt. He's very very fragile. He's shown to be very fragile. So I'd say
Yeah.
I don't care. I'd rather not see him than see him out there because he doesn't know how to fall, doesn't know how to run, doesn't know how to do, he doesn't know how to protect himself. He might as well play on the freaking Giants.
It's a potential RG3 scenario again if they throw him
Yes,
out there in meaningless
I've
games.
been
You know what I mean?
yeah, I've been cautiously optimistic ever since they drafted him.
Right.
Always, like I'm looking forward to it. Am I going to get super hyped? No, because I'm on eggshells the whole time. Every time he touches the ball,
Right.
every time it's hiked, I'm on eggshells.
Listen,
Speaking
I
of,
would be remiss. Go ahead, Ben.
I was saying, speaking of RG3, Paul, hindsight's 2020, but would you have sat him for that playoff game against the Seahawks back in the day, or would you have played him?
no, I would have played him. I don't think what they did got him injured. He did. He got the yips. The yips. You can't get the yips in football. You're gonna get yourself hurt. And
Especially
he
that
got the
quarterback.
yips. Yeah, he
Yeah.
got like like other like people like I think like gymnasts and other people like that say you can't go out there if you got the yips. You're really gonna hurt yourself. Same thing. You're not going to get hurt any more than you could in a football field. So you play scared, you're going to get destroyed.
Yeah, that's true. I'm, I mean, look, I'd be remiss if I didn't touch on this. I mean, it's biggest, second biggest week of the season for me. It's F Dallas week. It's a holiday for me. It's Eagles Dallas. They don't usually play well in Dallas over the last couple of years, so I got my hesitations about this game. It's the spread's only 3.5. So I know that the Cowboys offense can put up points. Thought the Lions could put up points too, and we saw how that game went. So I'll be shocked if Dallas puts up a ton of points on the Eagles. I'll be even more shocked if the Eagles put up a ton of points on that crappy defense that Dallas has. The offense just isn't clicking right now, man, and I don't know that it ever will. I think we're looking at a down offensive year from this team, and I think Ben, I alluded to this when I was talking to Randler in one of the chats. It's like those early 2000 Patriots teams where the offense wasn't great, the defense carried it, and the offense just played consistent enough to
Good
win
enough.
games and not turn
Yep.
the ball over. They didn't play
Y-
they didn't play to lose. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Well said. Well
And
said.
I think that's what we're going to see out of this Eagles team, and everybody's mad about it. But look, I can't be mad when they're winning. I'm frustrated that they're not doing better things on offense, but they're winning games, and the defense. Everybody's like, "Oh, this is like 2023 collapse." No, it's not even close to that because this defense is a million times better than that defense ever was. So,
So I
it'll
actually
be interesting to see.
brought up the collapse about an hour ago, and you're right, but it's flipped. The defense and the offense, the defense wasn't as good back there. The offense was. So I think it was kind of flipped. It was kind of flopped. But I think the Eagles are in for, I'm not saying like a collapse. When I say collapse, like I mean just a downward spiral. But I think you're in for some downtime. And I think Lane Johnson being out is not going to help.
Uh,
Yeah, I mean, I will say the hype about them not playing as well and not having a winning record when Lane Johnson is out is somewhat overblown. That's more before Sirianni took over, and Stoutland really started running this offensive line as much over the last like 3 or 4 years. Last year when he was out, Fred Johnson came in and they went 5-1. So like the problem that they're going to run into is not just Lane Johnson being out. It's that Cam Jurgens may also be out, and your depth at offensive line now, those guys are starting. So you don't have like then your depth is your third string guys who aren't that good, right? So, and that's just like anybody's offensive line when there's injuries involved. So I that's to me the biggest
Even the
issue on
Giants.
the on yeah, well, the Giants are the best team in the National Football League. You didn't know that, and they're going to win 10 games still. Um, but I think
we're built
the
for
biggest
this.
issue, yes, we're built for this. It's a we haven't gelled yet. Um, I think I think the biggest issue is the fact that the offensive line has just struggled this year. That's the biggest issue with the offense. They're not opening the holes like how they did last year for Saquon. And everybody's saying how Saquon lost his step. He looks pretty good when he's in the open field still. It's just he doesn't get to the open field because they're not making the
Oh
holes
yeah.
that they did last year.
He he
So,
he can still give some whops moments for
oh
sure.
my God, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
A couple of those runs like that. That pass against Green Bay, that 40-yard screen pass where he was in the open field, like spin move and
Oh yeah.
everything. Like that's all I heard in my
That
ear
was
was
nice.
the
Yeah.
Chris Berman, the whoop whoop.
Yeah.
Like
That
that's
that's all I
exactly what I
heard.
heard.
That's all I heard reading that fantasy soliloquy today. That's why I responded. I'm like, somebody has to read this whole thing in the Berman. He's so good. What a gem that guy is.
Does anybody remember that? Like back in like the mid to late '90s, it was NFL prime time. Paul, you remember that? At 7 o'clock, it was him and Tom Jackson would always come on before Sunday Night Football, and they would do all the highlights of every game throughout the day. And like, I used to look forward to that, man. Even when the Eagles sucked in the '90s, which they did in the mid to late '90s, and like they weren't winning a lot. So like the highlights, I would like not pay attention to that game, but every other game, it was great just hearing them read it off and everything. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I
Chris.
still like hearing Berman's fastest 2 minutes. He still does the
Yes,
fastest 2 minutes, and I like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Him and Booger McFarland do. Is it Booger? I think it's Booger. Yeah, they do NFL primetime still because it's not Tom Jackson, but it's only like a half hour, and it's not the same, obviously. But yeah, the fastest 2 minutes reminds me of NFL primetime. Like it reminds
Yep.
me of the same
Yep.
exact thing. It's
Whole
pretty good.
thing's animated.
He he
Yep.
he should be employed for life by ESPN. just the personality on him is like unmatched with like any other sports personalities that I can think of in the moment. Like he's just
Yeah,
so like ingrained with football for like the last 30, 40 years. It's awesome.
it's him and John Madden for me, man. Like the catchphrases and everything that they brought to like doing highlights and doing commentary are gold. Like he could go all the way. Like that's Berman, you know what I mean? And like even Berman when he would do baseball and it's like back, gone. Like
Uh
Gone.
it's
home run
still in your
derby
like it's
staple.
yes, yes.
Yep. Yep.
Yes, yes, and it's just hearing that, and like what we just talked about with him go whoop whoop, like just making those
What?
sound effects and everything,
What?
man. It's just
I still
like,
do that.
yep, dude was an
Anytime
animal.
a
Yeah,
guy a
absolutely.
juke, like anytime someone jukes someone, that's all I say. Like to my friends, like what, what,
Yeah,
you
it
know?
doesn't matter what game it is. It doesn't matter. Like I said it Sunday at the Eagles game. It's Sunday night. I was like, somebody made a move like that, and I was like, oh, when Gibbs did it, Gibbs was in the
Yeah.
open field and he made somebody like look
Oh,
like a little
Gi-
kid, and I was like, whoop, like that's
Gibbs.
exactly what
Yeah,
it was.
So when you
Gibbs.
say
I
it,
mean,
Ben, it
yeah,
sounds like you're saying just letting you know, and that means something different.
yeah. Oh, that is what I'm saying.
Okay. Instead of whoop, you're saying, and you know,
Well, I think
The statements
I think
expressed by Ben McNally are Ben's alone. We do not condone that type of statements
yeah,
on here on the Clash of Conferences Network. We're equal opportunity here.
yep.
yeah.
And
Tell
Tom
tell
Brady's a
that to
tool.
AJ Brown. Yeah.
Speaking of AJ Brown, I think we can land this plane a little bit. We didn't get into college sports, but we can do that next week. We can have an extra segment. Since we're talking about AJ Brown, I know a lot of shows end with like, that it's time to go when you got the dumb shit. Well, this week we're going to do the Dom shit. So I don't think I've ever seen a time where, and you'll never see another time, where head of security walks out onto the practice field, rips a player off the field, and says, "The owner wants to come talk to you." Like I thought that was ridiculous that happens. I'm not hating on it. Well, I mean hating on AJ Brown, but that happened. Like I mean, the owners don't talk to players like that. It's a bad idea. Last time an owner talked to a player, the Cowboys made a bad trade. Some would say. So the owner's not supposed to do that. There's a communication barrier between these owners and the players in many ways. So I thought that was very interesting. Um, and
Yeah, I mean, look,
I'm eager to see if anything changes at all.
in Philly, they're a family, man. And honestly, there's two things I'll say. Laurie has a different relationship than most owners do with a lot of his players. That's number one. I do agree with you. It's a little weird, but I think that was more for the media and more publicity than anything else. I think it was everybody shut up and stop complaining about this because, in case you didn't notice, the drama shifted from AJ Brown this week to Jalen Hurts. There was no drama about AJ Brown. That was it. Like it was done. After they had that meeting, everybody was like, "Well, we can't talk about this shit anymore. Let's talk about Jalen Hurts." And that's exactly what they did. So now there's rumors out there saying that everybody's frustrated with Jalen Hurts and Jalen Hurts is getting a play call in his ear and then doing something different on the
Changing
field
up.
and
Yep.
all this other changing it up every single time. He's doing his own thing. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be another type of meeting out there. You know what I mean? And it's going to be Big Dom because Big Dom is more than just head of security. He's like the family guy. Like he's that guy that is like, you have an issue in the family, go to Big Dom. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what you do. He's a character guy. So sometimes I wish on this podcast, I mean, in this network, we had a Big Dom. I wish we had a Big Dom to just kind of make everybody feel whole and, make everybody feel like a family again, Paul. That's how I feel. You know what I mean?
Hey, let's get Big
I
Dom on
think
the
we're more of
pod.
a family. I think
Does he have social
I think
media?
we're more of a family than we've ever been.
Big Big Dom does have social media, and let me work on that. Let me see what I can do. Maybe I'll make
Slide
him
in
an
those
offer he can't
DMs.
refuse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. That
So, like I
fangool,
said, I
that
said I was gonna.
gabagool. Yeah.
So
That's
I
that's
said I was
reference
gonna
number
try
two
some.
there.
I was going to try something different at the end, and it will dictate real life situations to see if we can do it again. So I'm hoping there's another opportunity for some Dom shit. But most likely it's going to be at the slide of the Eagles. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But I think that's going to pretty much wrap us up for this week. I thought that was an awesome episode. Um, Next week, I hope we can recruit some more guys out here. But guys are and Christy out here for sure. But I think that was a great episode, and I think it's time to land this plane. And I am not an Eagles fan, but I am absolutely rooting for you this week.
I'm sure you are. I'm sure you are, as we all are. Go Birds, and as I said, it's F Dallas week. So Ben, you're on that train too. You don't like Dallas, so let's go.
Now we need Jalen Hurts, we need Saquon, we need Devonta Smith, we need AJ Brown, we need Javonte Williams, we need George Pickens, and yeah, that's it. We need them all to do well with the Eagles winning. How about that?
Don't forget about Grant Calcaterra. You need him to do well.
Yes, get him in on
Just
that
because,
line.
yeah, just because
Goddard
you
ain't
referenced
blocking,
him
that's
right.
for sure.
Oh, Calcaterra is
Yeah.
horrible at blocking. He blocks probably the fence that caught your arm in the softball game blocks better than Calcaterra.
Yikes! Yikes!
Special teams ace Grant
Yeah,
Calcaterra.
love
All
it.
right. Well, I think that just about wraps it up. We'll see everybody next week with another episode.
Boom, boom, boom.